Real Business Breakthrough. This is a spiritually minded program for individuals that would like to be inspired, elevate their energy, find more purpose in their life, and to be empowered. And with that, I am your host, Judy, and I am here to hopefully today entertain you and give you a lot of great information. And today I'm starting off so I can look just like my guests with our big glasses. So we really stand out today. So I'd like to introduce my guest, and his name is Kevin Hoover. Hello, Kevin.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. And I want to share with the listeners a little bit about you so we can get moving here. Today's show will be 15 to 20 minutes. So just here we go. So the title, as you know, is How Business Leaders Make the Income That They Desire by Working Less Hours. And Kevin has perfected that. And you all are going to want to hear all about this. He's also going to share with us today, you today, about his nonprofit. We're going to begin with that in just a minute. And so I'll tell you a little bit about Kevin. He works with business leaders to achieve a more purposeful and fulfilling life without losing the success and income that they invested years to create. For most, there doesn't need to be a drastic or high risk shift to achieve that. The framework of his coaching has to do with living a life on purpose, meaning everything is intentional, has deliberate decisions, and it is in the line with how we want to live. It may seem idealistic at first, but for most, they realize the big changes are in the small things, be it larger income or stronger relationships. The life around the work is what I'm interested in. I believe that it's a both purpose and profit world. I will be putting in the chat his free gift for all of you, and you can also see his website. Now, with that, I would like to remind everyone that I'm on every day to talk about the energy portal called the Lion's Gate. It is a huge portal, magnetic, electrifying portal of energy that everyone can tap into. Whether or not you believe it, it's there. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Are you more chaotic in your life? Things coming up? Are you stressed? Old things you thought you let go of are showing up in your face. Those are some of the things that's happening right now. So I just want you to know that that's all normal. So today you're going to get some. This is what the show is about. And today you're going to receive all kinds of wonderful things with Kevin. And today, hopefully, well, I know you're going to elevate your energy. So, with that, Kevin, I can't thank you again for being here. Could you please share your nonprofit with all the listeners, viewers?
Sure. It's great to be here, Judy. Our, our nonprofit is called Hug Your People, and we help kids who are fighting cancer in small ways. Our mantra in that organization is to make one child's day 1% better, meaning we give them little toys and blankets and pillows and wagons that make them smile through their treatment. It's been a transformational endeavor for us. We had no nonprofit experience before, but my son was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in 2019, and he inspired the organization and the movement. And he did not want to go into any treatment in a wheelchair, so the wagon became something that we gravitated towards. And as we were around other parents in treatment, they thought it might be beneficial, so we just started giving them away. And to date, over the last probably 14 or 18 months, we've been able to place over 400 wagons with kids who are fighting cancer. So that's kind of become our life purpose, is to help kids who are in a tough situation just smile a little bit.
Wow, that is amazing. That's actually amazing. I didn't realize your son was stage 4. So it's a
Yes.
miraculous healing, a
Mm-hmm.
miracle, that he travels all over the country with you and your wife.
It is, and a lot of the parents tell us, once they read our story, everyone always does a little digging to make sure that we're real. We're traveling the country and there's a lot of people who aren't as transparent, as honest, but then once they realize that we're the real deal, they always say meeting Baxley, my son, is more valuable than the wagon itself. Seeing the hope, seeing that he can, their child is in the middle of it, and there aren't a lot of cues when you're in treatment of healing. There's a lot of cues of medicine. There's a lot of cues of illness and tough things and the things that chemo and radiation does to your body. There's a lot of reference to the pain and the suffering that cancer treatment causes these kids. There aren't a lot of references to here's what it looks like 3 years later. And so they always tell us that just seeing Baxley with his full head of hair, jumping around, playing, being on the playground, swimming, doing all the things normal kids do. They always say that that's the real piece of inspiration that they draw from Hug Your People.
Wow, that is so heartfelt. Yeah, I mean, I love seeing him on Facebook. He's a sweetheart. He's a huge inspiration, just a bundle of love, and he's changed your life
completely. He's
Yeah.
already a bigger person than I probably will ever be, as far as his heart just is drawn towards helping people. And if I could share a quick story of how his
Sure.
intuitive nature kind of plays into our movement. So last night, he loves pizza, so everywhere we go we have to go get pizza, and he rates it, and he says, oh, compared to his favorite piece of pizza, this is number 10, and that's his little game. So we were at a pizza place last night. We're in Fergus Falls, Minnesota this week, and we were at a pizza place last night, and he carries Hug Your People stickers with him, and he said, I want to give a Hug Your People sticker to our waitress. She was super nice, pizza was excellent. And so he did. Well, it turns out she's a part-time social worker, and her boyfriend, who was a cook in that restaurant, his 14-year-old daughter had been diagnosed with leukemia and was in the middle of her. So Baxley's intuitive nature was like, I need to make sure these people know we are part of Hug Your People. So he gave the server a sticker. That led to a conversation with, the guy's name was Andy. He comes out from the back. He meets us. We give him a hug. We talk about his daughter. And then today we're going shopping for his daughter to make sure that she gets the things that she needs while we're here. So and that's not the only time that's happened. We were in South Dakota, and the same thing happened. We had a server at a pizza place. Turns out, he helps kids with some religious organizations, and he's connected to a bunch of kids. And so Bax started by giving him a sticker. This thing where his intuitive nature on how do I let people know what I do without pressing the issue, so to speak. It really starts with him just giving them a sticker and watching them and watching what they do. And he doesn't say a word. It's brilliant. He doesn't say a word, and he lets the energy flow. He lets them approach. He lets them get what they need to do. And then all of a sudden, at the time, it ends up being a connection with someone who really needs to hear from us.
Wow. And you're saying this is everything he does, that you observe, that intuitively he's running the business, basically.
100%. Yeah.
He's running it, and I mean, everybody has a part. Well, as a intuitive that I am, and a medium, and I've been doing this as a healer for over 25 years. And I very much recognize that your son is an angel, and he's here to have changed your life and your wife's, to open you up to more love, because you have to trust. It's a big trust factor. And the fact he's here to help change the world, so it's very courageous that I believe that spirits come here and they choose their life. It's all in a school, it's all in learning, it's all about learning more or giving love, right? And so your son is just love. I mean, if that's the one word, love. He is that's huge. I mean, that's just absolutely huge. So gosh, thank you so much for sharing all that. Is there a link if somebody wants to donate money to the cause, or if they know somebody that's in the same situation, do they reach out and give you names also?
Yeah, absolutely. Our website is the best place to go. That's kind of where we keep track of everything to make sure everyone's getting what they need. Hugyourpeople.org is the website. On the website, there's a donate button. There's also a nominate a wagon button. So if you need a wagon, or you know someone who needs a wagon, you can fill out our little form, some information about the child and the family and what they might need. Hugyourpeople.org, Judy. Sorry.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah,
Yes, but I
we're
should
a
have caught it.
That's all right. But that's the best place to do it. Where if you feel inclined to donate, that's where you can donate. If you know someone who needs a wagon or needs support from Hug Your People, that's where you would let us know about them, and then we can kind of take it from there. And we are official 501c3, so we are, you get all the tax credits that you might need if you do something like that.
Yeah, I know. I had a coaching client that in her early 40s, and that's exactly what happened to her. She got cancer when she was your son's age.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she thrives and does great. So
Yeah, we're optimistic. It was a tough couple of years, obviously, as you can imagine, but when he just did it with a smile, and he did it with that love that you're talking about, and there's no doubt that he's here to leave a bigger mark on the world. And it's really funny because he's 7 years old now. He was diagnosed when he was 4. And so if he gets any kind of monetary gift from anybody, so at the holiday times, from the grandparents or whatever, he equates that to how many wagons that can give someone else. Like, it's just, he
wow.
goes, he's like, oh, that's half a wagon. That's great. And that's just how he thinks. And don't get me wrong, he's still a 7-year-old. So he likes his stuffed animals and his Legos and all that stuff too. But it's really remarkable to see his transformation and his transformation in us, to be able to help the world in a little way.
Absolutely. I just am curious. How long are you going to be on the road? Is this an
We
indefinite?
No, so our mission was to deliver personally a wagon in every state. So we were going to be out on the road for who knows how long, but we've just passed our 1 year mark. August 1st was our 1 year traveling, and we've been to 24 states. We've placed over 400 wagons. We've gotten some really good, really good progress. What we're learning also by actually growing, that it's important for him to have a sense of school and a sense of friends and a sense of community around him, not just hanging out with mom and dad and moving towns every week. So we're probably going to slow up the pace of travel in the near future, just so that he can have some sort of roots develop and kind of take a breather
Yeah.
himself. But we'll still go out for smaller spurts. So I feel like the bulk of our travel is probably beyond us, and we'll probably go back, find a home, and then take the camper out on the weekends and things like that, on the summers and holidays and things like that, to still fulfill our mission over time.
Right, right. You're from North Carolina. You live in North Carolina, right? Originally? No,
I'm
you're not
from North
from North.
Carolina.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
from North Carolina. I live in South Carolina, though.
Okay. You don't have a Southern twang.
Well, I spent 10 years in New York City, a couple years in Los Angeles, Philadelphia. I travel around
That's
a lot.
true.
Yeah,
That's true. Okay, let's I'm having such a great time. Let's talk about
let's do.
business. Um, let's spend 5 minutes talking about business and how you've learned to make more money and work less hours.
Well, I got thrown into the fire on that one. So when the week leading up to my son being diagnosed, I was running 2 businesses. I had a coaching practice and a real estate team. And then when you're hit with something that drastic in life, everything changes in an instant. So Friday, March 22nd, 2019, my son was airlifted. It was that point where we slowly were realizing that business wasn't going to carry on the way it used to. We were going to spend probably 4.5 months of the first year of treatment not at home. So the real estate thing was not going to be viable. I wasn't going to be there, so we had to really shift that. I was doing what I guess most people do. I was working, 5 to 7 days a week, depending on the week and what was going on. I was at the soccer game, but had my phone close by just in case someone needed me. So I was there, but I wasn't fully present. Once we were diagnosed and got everything settled, my work week went from, the 5 to 7 days a week, and we had looked at our schedule, travel, treatment, everything that we were going to do, my own personal energy. and I was going to be able to realistically pull about 2 days a week of work. So that panned a bit, as you can imagine, going from a full-time schedule to a 2-day a week schedule. How's this going to work? And then we started getting the bills, and the helicopter bill to get my son airlifted was $60,000. Of course, we have insurance and things like that, but these were just emotional financial cues that we were going to have to endure. So how are we going to keep our family afloat? So I committed to doing 2 days a week just in coaching. I pretty much dissolved the real estate team and let everyone go on their own way so that they could find what they need, because I wasn't going to be in any position to lead other people in sales at that point. And so I really doubled down on my coaching, and I let all my clients know. I said, here's what's going on. There are going to be some days that I'm going to say I can't do it today, and some days where I'm really going to give you the good stuff. And I'm going to be very transparent and be honest, and I want you to be the same. And if you need to move on, I respect that completely. So I was very transparent with them about that. I didn't lose a single client, and I just really doubled down for the next weeks. And I worked 2 days a week, and my revenue tripled. New people came in. I was talking from an authentic place. We started sharing our story, being very transparent. I wasn't trying to ramp up or scale or anything. I said, I've got these hours available. If you would like one of those hours, I'd be happy to work with you. So people started towards that. Excuse me. And that was really, and it was very, very uncomfortable at first, because I'm very much from a worker mentality upbringing, where you go to work, you put in an honest day's work, you get an honest day's pay kind of thought process. In my earlier corporate career, I didn't take a vacation for 5 years in my 30s. I didn't, because I was working in corporate, and I thought that's how I'm going to get ahead. That's how I'm going to provide. That's how I'm going to succeed. And so this was very, very uncomfortable for me to go back to just 2 days a week. And then I started noticing the revenue, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, we didn't shrink. In fact, we grew. How did that happen? So then I started really looking at what my mindset was around it, why this shift. I had to make these changes, but what was really going on? And it was all mindset stuff. It was all value oriented, but it was also, I was delivering incredibly strong coaching sessions in very small amounts of time. I was not shying away from the hard questions or the really tough topics. And that's what prompted the growth in people. So all of my clients started having success. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm at probably a low point in my life and dealing with some really, really heavy stuff, but I'm doing the work and my clients are thriving, and I'm doing it 2 days a week. Maybe there's something to this, right? Maybe.
And now you work 3 days a week? Is that what last year you were working 3 days? I know when we talked.
Yeah. So I after my son was free and clear of cancer, I decided to really go back full time, and I decided to add a day a week. So I'm doing 3 days a week right now, living in an RV, traveling the country, and we've been doing that for a year. And so the model that I didn't really seek to prove a model. I just really initially was trying to survive. So the theories and the frameworks and all the stuff that coaches try to put out there, for me, it started as survive. Do not let your family go bankrupt. And let's test that. So it was really I've got to swim here. I can't sink. And then as we got into the clear a little bit, my son started beating his challenges, and we started, the dust was settling. I said, well, let's not go back to the way we were, because that seems like that would be for nothing. We've just had this incredible experience. My son overcame all the odds. He really just was a miraculous recovery. No explanation for it aside from he's got a bigger purpose, and he is the embodiment of love. And so what am I going to do from now on? I can't go back to doing 5 to 7 days a week with my phone glued to me. My wife and I talked, and what if we did this? So yeah, I worked 3 days a week, half of the last year. We've ready for Hug Your People. We've impacted a lot of people through that. I've grown my business. Not really so much as I did at first, but it's progressively gotten better every year. I've learned a lot, and I've had some really great adventures. And I think that's really the balance of life that I was seeking, is how do I make enough to live the life I want? And I'm actually doing that, and I love it.
That is, that's wonderful. That is absolutely beautiful. Let me ask you, for somebody that would love, because you're actually operating everything at a higher vibration, right? I mean, you're not coming from the world of the 3D, right? Like we just talked
Mhm.
about of working, got to put in all these hours, you got to do this, and there's enough. You got to do this. And when you started to appreciate life and you started counting your things and you slowed down to smell the flowers and look at what was most important, you radiated a stronger love for humanity because you were loving your wife and son to pieces, right? You had time for that.
Mhm.
So when you went to 3 days, two days a week, 3 days a week, I know that you do have a pretty strict schedule. Can you please share that? If somebody wants to understand that you can really get there, you really can.
You really can. I think the first thing I did is I started interrogating my schedule. When I figured out I could do 2 days a week, I started saying, okay, well, what am I doing that's important? What am I doing that's just looking at the computer, hoping something falls in my lap? And so I really started allocating the right amount of time for the activity. So, for instance, checking email, it takes me 12 minutes to check email. I was allocating an hour. So boom, there's 48 minutes that I just got back. And so I only take 12 minutes to check my email. So if you look at my calendar, I actually put the exact amount of time. And I did that over a course of days of tracking, like how long do I really get in there and delete the things. And this is before the assistants and all that. But it really, if you look at it and say, okay, well, how much time am I spending on my social media? How long does it take for me to create a post? To create a solid post, depending on the time of day, it takes me about, I don't know, 15 minutes to really hash it out and edit and get that thought out there. So by traditional calendars, they're going to give you the option of 30 minutes or an hour. Those are the blocks that they provide for you, unless you change those blocks. So that was the first place I started, is saying, okay, let me allocate the right amount of time for that task and make sure that that task is moving the needle. I have to check my email every day, so I check it once a day, and it takes me 12 minutes, and I move on. That's that, done, right? I don't spend any more time going back, or when it pings on my phone, given there are some times, if I have a speaking engagement or something where contracts are being floated around, that I need to pay attention to that. But other than that, so that really was how I started. And now my standards around my schedule are pretty much, the answer is probably no, but convince me. So like when you called me and wanted me to do this, it didn't take much convincing at all, because I know you, I love the work you do. And so this was a yes. So we found room, we found time. The rest of my day is filled with a lot of fun things, a couple client meetings, and so my schedule is very, very intentional. Everything I do has a purpose, and everything I do outside of my actual client meetings or things like this is about moving the needle. How am I, is it leverage or is it scale? What is it? What is it? What purpose does this serve? And so when I started really looking at my schedule like that, I realized that I was allocating 8 hours to do something that takes 4. And
Wow.
I was like,
Wow.
okay, that's why company culture, if you look at the corporate office and the corporate thing, why is their culture such a struggle? Most people can do the job they've been hired to do in 4 hours, but the company requires them to stay there for 8, 12, 15 hours, some cases, just to show their face, to make sure they're there, because most leaders believe that if I can't see you, I don't know, how do I know you're doing a good job? And that's the mentality.
Right. Our time is up. I could be talking to you all
Oh my
day.
gosh,
I just
that's quick.
love your energy. So people can go to your freebie, and they also can go to your Kevin Hoover coaching, and
Hmm.
they can, right, that they can learn more about you and what you do. And we've also included your site for people to donate to your cause, your nonprofit, which is beautiful and wonderful. I just honor you and appreciate you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so much. I appreciate you right back. My pleasure.
Yeah, yes, and I hope that there's a lot of people that will take the time to watch this, and I will definitely, I do post on LinkedIn, just so you know, and I don't think I mentioned that to you, and Facebook and YouTube. So, the most important thing is, because I know that you linked your social media for an account, try to get it to LinkedIn too, if
Okay,
you can, because I
absolutely.
feel there's a lot of business people there that would like to watch it. And we'll
Absolutely.
just keep spreading the news and the love. All right. Thank you. You everyone have a beautiful, wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.